Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the narcissist knows you know. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So this video has been done by so many creators over the years. I've done different versions of it, but never this exact one. So when the narcissist knows that you know, there are multiple things that will or may or already have taken place. The first is when they figure out that you know who they are. They may immediately try to turn it around and blame you and tell you that you, in fact, are the narcissist. Now, when you don't have the wisdom, when you don't have the experience, or you don't know that that's one of their techniques or their tactics, you will be questioning yourself and you will be thinking, am I? Maybe I am, I'm not sure. I need to research this more. I thought it was them, but maybe it's me. See, this is a defense mechanism to buy that person time, to keep you trapped, to keep you doubting yourself, to not be accountable, to not be authentic and genuine, and to not admit the truth that in fact they now know that you know. They will never, and I mean never, admit it. If they do, they are one in a couple 100 million people that will actually admit that they are. But having said that, many times these people, i.e. the toxic people, they will blame somebody else. So that's one thing that may happen. Now, there are many other things that may take place when the narcissist knows that you know, and here's one. They may begin to pull back more and more. They may begin to spend more time with the new supply, or they may begin to groom another source of supply because perhaps you figured it out when you weren't supposed to have figured it out, maybe in the middle of the relationship, or maybe right after you had a kid, or right after you got married or something. Maybe you were one of the quick studies and you figured it out early. Well, if you did, that blew up the narcissist plans because they had plans to string it out longer with you. Remember, once the narcissist knows they have their dirty fangs sunken into via you telling them you love them, you marry them, you relocate, you loan them money, you have children with them, or you put them up in a business, whatever you did, once they have an advantage over you, that's when they begin to pull back. And when they pull back, that's when it's too late and you didn't know what you know now. But again, when you thwart or you throw a monkey wrench in their plans, they have to react, and they're not used to reacting. These people are used to having steps planned out 2, 3, 4, 30 steps ahead of other people. They're used to knowing which way to go and when to do it, when to pull back, when to be there, when to not be there, when to ghost people, because they're manipulating not just you. They were manipulating multiple people at any one time. And when they know what you don't, it is an insurmountable advantage for them until you figure it out. So let's say that you did figure it out early and they knew that you knew. Well, now they have to go a different direction. They will still try to string it out, still try to blame you, and they will still try to act like that's not them, that they're not the raging narcissist. But now they have to get a new, naive, vulnerable fuel source, or maybe a recycled source of supply, someone who hasn't figured it out yet. Or maybe they will look elsewhere and they'll meet another apex predator, similar or worse than themselves, another narcissist. But when you figured it out and they had longer term plans to be with you, to stick it out with you longer, to string you along longer, then they have to usually go in a different direction because now they can't manipulate you the way they used to. Now, all these things I'm sharing with you, remember, once you figure it out, it's not like you figure it out and now everything's puppies and rainbows. No, you have a long road ahead of you. That's why the healing path is not linear. That's why it will take time. It will take a lot of time, but in your time, you will heal if you utilize the tools that I provide for you with each and every video I create, from all the beautiful comments from all over the world. But having said that, when the narcissist knows you know, I just give you a couple examples there. Another one would be this. When they know you know, how they will know, I'm digging another layer, peeling another layer of the onion back here. How they will know is when you are not giving them supply like you used to, when you're not reacting, when you are more stoic and centered, when essentially you're using gray rock, which means you're becoming dull and boring. You're getting off of their radar. You're not sharing information about yourself, and you're not giving them the fuel that they need. And you may say, well, what is the fuel they need? It is supply. And you may say, well, what is supply? Supply can be communication. It can be given the silent treatment. It can be money. It can be time. It can be a job. It can be waking you up early or sleep depriving you or parental alienating you or financially abusing you. It can be triangulating you. It can be making you late for a dinner. It can be blowing up your weekend or your holiday. It can be an Amazon package. It can be you just sitting right next to them on the couch while you're watching Netflix, thinking that you're in a loving, stable, healthy relationship, while that person who turned out to be toxic is zapping and stealing your energy while they're on one of the 3 smartphones getting your replacement. Supply is anything that you allow them to have access to. It's the best way to say it. So when you're changing what you're doing for them, or what you were doing for them, they will sense that, because the narcissist has a sixth sense of being a predator. They know when someone starts doing different things. They know when somebody is fawning all over them. They know when somebody is reacting or responding. They know when somebody is explaining or defending. They also know that when they push any button, if somebody is defending that or explaining it, they know that person is flailing, they're helpless, they're trapped in that narcissistic fog because they don't get it. They didn't receive the message yet that they shouldn't be communicating with the narcissist. They definitely shouldn't be explaining or defending. They shouldn't be giving that person any oxygen or air or attention. But again, you didn't know back then what you know now. So another thing that may happen when the narcissist knows that you know is they may look disheveled, or they may look like they just hit a roadblock, like the script will stop. And maybe they'll stare at you and they won't know what to do because they will be dumbfounded. They won't be able to wrap their head around how you figured that out because they weren't prepared for that. And in their tiny little brain, they don't think anyone will ever figure it out. So maybe they froze when you told them, hey, I know who you are, I know what you did. Maybe they just stared at you and they didn't give you the swelling of the pupils like beach balls filled with blackness, or maybe they did, but maybe they just froze and they said, I can't believe this, to themselves. They said, I can't believe this. How did they figure this out? I had them right where I wanted them. I was just about to take the last million from them. I was just about to get the beach home. I've been working on the kids and I have 3 of the 4 on my side. Smear campaign's well underway and I'm dragging out this relationship as long as I can. But how did they figure it out? Well, remember, the narcissist, although you may not believe this, they're a human being as well. And they have emotions. They're not cut from the same cloth as you are. And they weaponize their emotions, but mainly they weaponize your emotions. And they weaponize anything that makes you against you. So another thing, when the narcissist knows you know, if you catch them off guard or catch them by surprise, you will throw a monkey wrench in their plans and they will have to really act quicker and quicker. Now, another thing, let's say the relationship is over and let's say you are healing or you have healed and you figured it out. And this is probably you, who I'm going to refer to right now. What happened after the discard happened or after the relationship ended? Maybe you removed yourself under different circumstances. But once you were away from that person, let's say you were discarded, as this example will illustrate, what did you do? You had to really figure out what had just happened to your life, because it, number 1, just imploded. Number 2, all of your support was blown up. Number 3, you couldn't fathom what happened. Number 4, how could that person that you fell in love with or you loved, or they claimed that they loved you or were in love with you, how could they do what they did? Well, you now know they could do what they did because they never cared about you. They never loved you. They don't love anybody. They don't love one person on the planet. They love ruining relationships and destroying people's lives. But when this discard happened, or when the ending of the relationship took place with you, because you didn't have the wisdom and you weren't taught this in school, you were reeling. You were lost for words. You probably gained weight or lost weight. You didn't want to go out. You were probably crying for days or weeks or months on end. Maybe you experienced the angry stage, but you were in disbelief. And one of the main things I can assure you you were doing is you were trying to communicate with this person who turns out to be the narcissist, because you were trying to get answers to the questions you had. Essentially, back then you didn't know what you were looking for, but now you do, which it's called closure. This person will never give you closure. They won't give anybody closure because they can't provide it, because A, it would be too painful for them to do so. B, because they can't introspect and be accountable. C, they will blame you. And D, they do not want you to get answers to any of the questions you have. They want to twist the knife in you as deep as possible. So that's probably who you were. You were probably left on an island all by yourself in an ocean of abuse. Your support system had blown up, but you didn't know who they were then. Then what happened? You figured it out. And as you figured it out, you began to really do the deep dive on narcissistic abuse and awareness. You learned definitions such as triangulation, stonewalling, the silent treatment, gaslighting, verbal abuse, financial abuse. You learned projection, mirroring. You learned object constancy. You learned so many things that you never even thought you would learn about smear campaign and more if I didn't say that. As you were learning these definitions, you were coupling those definitions with your real life experience, and that equals wisdom. Now, this was a newfound wisdom to you. Maybe it still is right now. For those of us who have healed and healed years ago, we understand that that is an acquired wisdom, and we continue to get stronger each and every day. You may be one of us. You may be new to understanding what the wisdom is and acquiring the wisdom. Well, it will take time. Be patient with yourself. You'll get where we are, because we're all on the healing path, headed in the same direction. We are simply taking different footsteps. But as you discovered who this person was and what they did, and you began to check all of the boxes and with your real life experiences, then you said, yeah, they did that, and they did that, and they did that. And as you went down different rabbit holes of education and exploration, of discovery about who the narcissist was and what narcissism is, inevitably you got most, if not all, the questions to the answers you wanted about who they were. Now, why they did it is a different ballgame. After time, you figured that out. Example, maybe the narcissist married you so you could raise their kids while they could create a business behind the scenes and discard you 2 days before your favorite holiday. I can't tell you, but each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date, and the narcissist knows when this will be. They don't know the exact date. They may know the year, but they know what they're trying to get out of that person. And some of these relationships last for a couple days, some a few weeks, months, a couple years, some decades, and some for a lifetime. But they all come to an end one way or the other, because each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date, like I shared. So having said this, you were putting everything together, and now you figured out who they were, what they did, and why they did it. Then you went down different rabbit holes of education, and you figured out it wasn't just that person that you were considering, or you are considering. There were other toxic people in your life too, but you didn't know who they were or what they were doing, because you didn't have the signs. You weren't taught this in school. Okay, so now once you get all that, then what happens at times? And this may have been you, maybe it is you right now. The hoover. Yes, the dreaded hoover, when the narcissist rears their ugly head. This could be a week, a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, or 50 years down the road. But eventually, not all of these people, but some of them, I would say more than not, attempt a hoover. Now you may say to yourself, what is a hoover, Andrew? A hoover is when the narcissist is testing the temperature of you. It does not mean they want to be in a relationship with you. Quite the contrary. They are seeing if you are still stuck in that web of abuse, if you're still blaming yourself, if you're still open to communicate with them, if you still want answers to questions that you had from them. This is what the narcissist does. So now, why I'm tying this all together, as the thumbnail mentions, when the narcissist knows you know, I'm focusing on the hoover here. When the narcissist attempts to hoover somebody, and maybe it was you, maybe it is you, when you do absolutely nothing, you don't respond, you do nothing, you figure out what avenue of communication that person tried to communicate with you. Maybe it was email. Maybe it was they slipped through on a burner phone and sent you a text. Or maybe they actually got through and called you and said, how are you? And you're thinking, oh my God, I haven't heard this voice in forever. What is this? Click. You didn't take the bait. Why didn't you take the bait? Because you're a different person now. You see, you are in the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. If you're not there, you will be eventually. But having said this, the hoover, when you don't take a bite of the forbidden fruit, which is the hoover, and you don't give the narcissist oxygen, they now know that you know. And no words need to be said. No explanation needs to be given. No defending will ever take place. Because by your lack of action and by your silence, everything falls into place as it should. Which means this: your silence is empowering. Your silence does the talking for you. Your silence puts up boundaries, and your silence lets the narcissist know that now you know, because you figured it out, and you want nothing to do with them ever again. And whatever avenue of communication that was that the narcissist tried to hoover you through, I'm sure by now, if you didn't do it, you will delete them or remove them or block them or get a new phone number or whatever you need to do. Because once these people get you back on the radar, many times they want to continue to try to break you down by communicating with you. This is why many times the narcissist will use not just one burner phone, they'll use 5, 10, 30. And you may say, who does that? Well, there are ways to get free phone numbers, and I'm not going to say how they are because the narcissist already knows this, and I don't need to be giving the rookie narcissist information. They can figure it out on their own. But this is why the narcissist many times wants to live in people's minds rent-free, They want to have that person, which perhaps was you. And to be fair, it wasn't me. Once I healed, I was done. Once I went no contact, I was done. Yeah, did it sting? Yeah. Did it hurt? Yeah. It was not a fun journey, but once I closed that avenue of communication, the final one, it was done. Game, set, match, checkmate, I win. And my hope is that's what you've done. So this is why when the hoover is attempted, and again, if you didn't get a hoover, it's a good thing. It's a great thing. Stay off the radar of these toxic creatures. But when a hoover does take place, and let's say that you received one, and let's say you accepted it, and you broke down, and you said, how are you? What's going on? Is everything okay? Well, now the narcissist knows there's something to work with. Now they know that you didn't heal, and now they know that you're still communicating with them, and now they know they can go back for another round of abuse with you if they want to. Or maybe they don't want to do anything other than steal your energy or your time, or maybe they want some more money. I can't tell you. But this is what they do. And what different examples of a hoover may be. It may come in the form of an email. Maybe it is you get something in the post. You get an old pizza crust from 30 years ago from Domino's Pizza, and it says missing you on it or something. Or maybe the narcissist texts somebody, and they text you and say, hey, remember that cassette tape from 1972? They want that back. And you're like, what are you talking about? See how I just chuckled and laughed? That's a natural chuckle or laugh. That's what people do when they heal. When they heal, they can say, you have to be kidding me. These people, i.e. the narcissists, the toxic people, they're pathetic. They're weak. They're empty shells. They're empty vessels. And all they want to do is consume other people's purpose, mindset, hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, and futures. This is what they want to do, not even counting relationships and health and money and everything. But having said that, when the narcissist knows you know, there's only a couple things that will happen before I get ready to close the video. One, they will blame you and say that it's your fault and you're that person. Well, we now know that you're not because you made it this far in the video. Number two, they'll have to speed up their new supply, what they're going to do, and try to get that person in a relationship a little bit quicker, which probably is what happened. Or number three, they will be so dumbfounded that they now know that you know because you've healed. This is the third part I shared with you. And there are many other examples or many other avenues that could take place when the narcissist knows you know. But the main one for this video is the hoover. When you received a hoover in the past, or if you do in the future, number one, my hope is you don't. Number two, I hope that you went no contact. Number three, I hope you deleted them, removed them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. And number four, if by some reason the narcissist continues to try to pepper and get through and break down boundaries and communicate with you, number one, realize how pathetic they are. Number two, realize how weak and shallow they are. Number three, realize you need to stay away from those people. But number four, when you do nothing and you just say to yourself, oh my gosh, it's been 10 years. And here we go, I got an email. Are you kidding me? Well, there you go. Who is the strong one? Who is the weak one? You are the strong one. But the narcissist wanted you believing that they were the strong one and you were the weak one. Reality is the exact opposite. You're the beautiful, bright, shining light. You have all the energy. You have all the positivity, the abundance, the growth, the purpose, the commitment, the direction. You have all the resilience and more. The narcissist is stuck in that low vibrational state and they know it. This is why when they know you know, and when you've healed or when you're healing, you win. It's checkmate. It's game over. You now remove yourself from playing that game of toxicity and taking on all their problems. You now let them slither off onto a new source of supply or wherever they go. And you say, God bless you. Just stay away from me. Just stay away from me. And that's what you do. And when you do that, then you reach that mountaintop, that pinnacle of indifference. And you can say to yourself, I cannot believe I was in that relationship. I cannot believe I stayed. I cannot believe what I did. I cannot believe what I experienced. But guess what? I'm out. And I'm free. And I'm healed. And I'm living my best life. And if the narcissist tries to hoover, it's just going to illustrate everything that Andrew mentions, how pitiful they are, how shallow they are, how weak they are, how mindless they are, and how all they want to do is see if anybody, in this case you, will take a bite of the forbidden fruit one more time. That's why you don't do it. Once you know, you go. Once you know, you go. So maintain your boundaries, maintain no contact. When the narcissist knows you know, my hope is it's after you're out of that relationship, you've figured it out, you've healed, and you understand that you want nothing to do with them, and by your lack of communication or response, they now know that you know. See, what the narcissist can't live without, it's not only oxygen, it's supply. And when you choke them out of your supply, they have to go somewhere else. They can't keep trying to zap your energy when they no longer can control you. When they can't control you, it's checkmate, you win. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Understand a few things. There are way more examples than those 3 I shared with what happens when the narcissist knows you know. The main thing I want to share is that when you do know that who they are, and most likely this was you probably figured it out after you were in the relationship, you need to maintain your boundaries. You need to let your silence do the talking for you, and you need to stay in that high vibrational state. You cannot any longer help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. You can't be having communication with someone who will only trap you and zap you. And you can't leave any avenues of communication open with a toxic parasitical creature who will try to take you down, kick you when you're down, and crumble you up like a sheet of paper and throw you away in the freeway and laugh at you and mock you and go off to a new source. All of these things encompass one thing. When you know, you go. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And understand something. I've got a cool 70s haircut here. It kind of reminded me of some 70s TV shows. This is not on purpose. It's just the way the hair fell down today. So I will be getting a haircut soon. It just made me laugh because I was like, wow, this reminds me of some old 70s TV shows. And if any of you know what I'm talking about, drop a couple of TV shows. I'm not going to say what they are, but if you know what I mean, you can drop them. It's just the haircut's it's remarkable. I love you all. God bless you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, everybody.